Okay, so let's go live for the second time. Can we do that? Tried to do it for the first time. It did not work out. Wi-Fi was sort of messed up, but let's go ahead and start this for the second time. Uno, dos. So, hey, Teresa. Hey, my auntie. I need you guys to go ahead and share. Hey, Dante. What's going on, Dante? I miss you. I need you guys to go ahead and share this with everyone you know. This is going to be a COVID-19 podcast. We're going to talk about what to expect tonight, potentially, and what's to come. I want to know what you guys are doing to keep safe and to make sure that not only you're safe, but your friends and your family and friends are safe as well. So we're going to talk about that tonight on the Tisa Batey Show. I want you guys to go ahead and take this time. Somebody just loved me like to the heavens and beyond. I love you, whoever you were, to send out all that love from me. I thank you and I appreciate you. But we want to take this time to go ahead and the next 2 minutes, let's go ahead and share this with everyone we know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you guys some very, very pertinent information that I just learned tonight from a former White House official, someone who still has ties with the White House. I'm going to share that information, what I have learned with you guys. You are completely capable of discerning and deciding whether or not this information is factual, true, false, whatever. I've researched it before I did this podcast, and I researched some sites that said, "Oh, this is bogus. This is not factual." Yada 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 yada. But what I'm smart enough to know is this: yeah, we're only told what we're told. We only know what we know. So, in keeping with that, and in knowing and in moving forward in wisdom, so we know that there are only certain things that we're privy to. So, with that in mind, I am going to always err on the side of caution, not only because I'm here, but because I have two children and a grandbaby. And so whether it's factual or not, if I get the information, yeah, I'm probably going to adhere to that because in my mind, it's better to be safe than sorry. And we don't know what we don't know. I miss you, DJ Grady, baby. I'm going to go ahead and tag some people if you guys don't mind, because I have just a few minutes to do that. So I want to tag some people and get some people involved here and, truly get some good feedback. Grady Taylor, Sheila Smith. I just want to get really good feedback so that we can all be informed and educated and all that stuff as we go forward with this podcast. Do I know that the information that I'm getting ready to give you, disclaimer, is factual? No, I don't. Do I know that it's not factual? No, I don't. But what I can say is this: I would rather share it with you and then discover that it's not factual than not share it with you and discover that it is factual. You feel me? Just like my walk with God and my Christianity. I would much rather, and this is just me, guys, I'm just saying, I would much rather live a life as a Christian believing that God is who he says he is and that Christ is who he says he is, and knowing that God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, and God are all one. I would rather live my life believing what I believe in my Christian walk and then die and find out that it's not true than to live my life doubting and not believing that Christ is who he says he is and God is who Christ says he is, and yada, yada, yada. And then die and find out that it is factual. because at that point it's too late. So I believe in Jesus the Christ. I believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, and that they are all one. And so with that in mind, there are some things that I have learned tonight, or that I have been informed of tonight. I cannot substantiate the claims one way or the other, nor would I try to. All I want to do is share it with my audience. All I want to do is just share it with you guys. You guys can sort of make the determination one way or the other as to whether or not you believe it, yada, 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 yada. But I want to share it with you guys. A lot of you guys have been asking and wondering, and, you know, some of you guys have been just nosy. And that's okay, because I love you just the same. Some of you guys have been just nosy, and some of you guys have really been wondering, like, okay, what's going on with you, Tisa? It's been a couple of weeks we have not seen the Tisa Batey show. And what I will say is this: I love you guys so much for even wondering what's going on with me and the Tisa Batey show and yada yada. There's nothing going on with the Tisa Batey show. Just so let me just put that out there. What I will say is this: I just sold my home. Praise God. From whom all blessings flow. Just sold my home, and that was, you know, quite successful. And so, guys, I have to be honest with you. I've just been really, really busy and a little bit overwhelmed. And you know, when you're selling a home and moving into another home and all that stuff, a change in my professional career, no longer with the company I've been with for 10 years. A lot of things have just been changing. And now with this coronavirus and jobs are furloughed and people are no longer doing what they've been doing forever. It's just been a whole lot going on, a whole lot of changes. So I say all that to say that I'm still here. I still love you. And the Tisa Batey show still is what it is. It's the Tisa Batey show still goes on, still on GradyBabyRadio.com. So tune in. But we're going to go ahead, or I'm going to go ahead. I'm not used to doing these podcasts by myself because sometimes I don't feel like I have things that people always want to hear. But regardless, and trusting in God, I do feel like I'm worthy to do this by myself. So I'm going to do that. This is the first time that I've done a podcast by myself. But in keeping with the social distancing requirements that are mandated sort of by the government, and still loving DJGradyBaby.com, I want to do this podcast tonight because I feel like it's relevant and it's something that we all need to talk about. So let me just put this out there. Let me just say this. What I have heard, and I don't, like I said, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's false. I don't know if it's somewhere in between. But what I have heard is this. What I heard is that the government will be releasing helicopters, planes, what have you, tonight at some point, 10 o'clock after, 12 o'clock after, to spray a substance all across the United States. And this substance that they will release will kill the coronavirus. And I know that we all say, okay, well, yay, it's about time. We're the most powerful country in the entire world. Why shouldn't we have something that does that? Like, why has it taken so long? Why didn't we do this day one? Here's what I have also learned. This substance that the government supposedly will spray all across the United States, the United States of America. Not only will it kill the coronavirus, but if you are out and about at this particular time, that it will also have detrimental effects on your life, could potentially take your life. I don't know if this is true or not. Hey, I'm not a part of the National or International Intelligence Committee. Nobody called Tisa Batey and said, this is what we're going to do. We need your approval. So I don't know. But what I do know is this. It is well to be informed, educated, and aware of what's going on. So I don't know if this is true or false. What I do know is this. I did receive a phone call from a prior White House official, and an official who still has very strong ties with the White House, who said that this indeed is going to happen. Were it not for that, I would not be having this podcast right now, because there have been so many different, opinions and rumors and so forth and so on about what's going to take place with COVID-19. But were it not for the fact that I felt like I had a pretty reliable source, I wouldn't even be coming to you guys tonight. This is my way of sharing with the masses as best I can. And me always trying to err on the side of caution, I feel like it's very important that I inform you guys, my followers, my family, my friends, that I can't just reach individually. This is my way of reaching out and saying, whether it's, and this is just me, whether it's true or whether it's false, I err on the side of caution. And the reason I say that is this. Who could have ever predicted that we would be in the situation that we're in today? If someone would have told me 2 months ago that life as we knew it, life as I knew it, would be this that we know today, I definitely would have laughed at them or thought that they were a little cray-cray. Let's just face it. A little cray-cray. So me erring on the side of caution, not only because I'm here, but also because I have 2 beautiful daughters and a beautiful, beautiful grandbaby, parents that I love, my mother, my stepdad. If there's any information that's given to me, whether it's factual or not, I'm going to share that. I'm going to disseminate that information, not because I'm in panic mode, but because I want us to be able to take full advantage of preserving the life that we have. I was just talking to my wonderful, wonderful friend and brother this morning, Cameron Taylor. I love you, Cameron. You were just the greatest to me. And I was listening to my Bishop Delcy Bronner, and I just began to just bawl and just cry, just wail uncontrollably. And I've been in deep prayer, and the reason I think that I was crying so deeply was not because of what I'm experiencing, even though I've been through immense changes in my life, but because, when you hear about all these deaths that are taking place across the world and the country, I know what it feels like to lose a loved one. I know what it feels like to have lost a cousin. When I first, the first really difficult loss that I had was my granddaddy, Eli Cleveland, when I was in high school. And then I fast forward a few years after, and it was my cousin and one of my best friends, Melissa Hawkins. We called her Missy Hawkins. And we lost her. And it was devastating. But even that paled in comparison to the loss that I would experience just a few years later in 1997 when I lost my brother, Patrick Batey. A lot of you guys passionately know him as Oz Batey, professional bodybuilder, invincible to many. I cannot tell you to this day, but I will tell you is that still remains the most devastating and painful loss that I've ever experienced. My brother. He was 29, I was 27, my baby sister was 25, and the most devastating loss I've ever experienced. And then fast forward that to 2011, my father died in the very, very same manner, the very same way in which my brother died. And you just ask yourself, why? Like, God, why me? Why do we have to go through this? The losses have been extremely devastating. And some people will live their entire lives and never have to experience the losses that me and my sister and my mother have had to experience. And to that I say you are very, very blessed. Thank God every day that you haven't had to experience those losses. But this morning, when I thought about all the people in New York who are dying and all the people in, Italy who have died, I started to take on their emotions and their grief. And I just started to wail and bawl and just cry uncontrollably, because at this particular time, guys, listen, this entire nation, this entire world is grieving. And so I just thought about, I was just one person. My family was just one family. And I think about how difficult it was when my brother passed, or my father, and how that impacted our lives, and how much we grieved and how much that hurt us. And to take that and to intensify that or magnify that by tens of thousands of people who are losing loved ones all across the world, it's just unfathomable to me. Like, I can't even begin to imagine. And I told my brother Cameron this morning, I said, this whole world is grieving right now. Like, it's not one family, it's not two families, it's not 10 families, it's not 100 families, it's not 1,000 families, it's tens of thousands of families who are grieving now because they have lost loved ones. I can't help but cry. I can't help but feel their agony and their pain and their discomfort. And so I just began to pray to God to just heal our land and help these families who have, it's sad that people have gone and transitioned on, but they leave families here who have to grieve their loss. And every day who have to wake up realizing that their sister, their brother, their mother, their father, their child is no longer here. I'm going to tell y'all something. That's a huge pill to swallow, and it's very, very difficult. So that's why I wanted to do this podcast tonight. And I don't know if the information that I received earlier is real, is factual. I don't know. All I know is that the first thing I wanted to do after contacting my family and close friends is I wanted to contact you guys and just say, listen, if you don't have to be out, don't be out. Whether it's true or whether it's false, why even take the chance? Why even take the risk? Stay at home with your babies, with your husband, with your wife, with your families, with your friends. Just stay at home. Don't even risk it. Just stay at home and try to remain safe through this entire ordeal. Because at the end of the day, we are all we have. We are all we have. And people have asked me, like, do you think that, like, why do you think God did this? And what I have to do is stop them right quick and in a hurry and say, if you're asking me my opinion, then let me be completely transparent with you on my transparent journey and share with you this. I don't believe God had any saying in this. I don't believe that God had a hand in actually creating this. There was a scripture and verse in the Bible, and I wish I could remember which scripture and verse. If you guys ask me and challenge me on it, I will certainly find it. It was a Bible challenge and a Bible on my Bible app. It was a plan that I read where God promised that I will never, I will never be the destruction or cause destruction of man or the earth or, again, I will never do that again. Like he did that way back in the day when it came to Noah and Noah building the ark and God wiped out, humanity, and the only ones that existed or remained were Noah and his children, yada, yada, yada. And God said, I won't do that again. And so do I think that God created this? Absolutely. Unequivocally, no, I do not. Do I think that God is allowing this to happen for some reason? Absolutely, I do. Why do I say that? So glad you asked. At this particular time, what I do know is this. There are self-proclaimed and professed atheists, scientific people, Scientology believers who have always taken God out of the equation, who are on their knees right now praying to a God that they have never given credit to. So, although I don't believe that God created this, because he is only the God of good and prosperity and wholeness, and even though I don't believe that he created this, do I believe that he is allowing this to happen so that we recognize him for who he is, so that we respect his authority? I do believe that. The whole nation is praying, y'all. Whether you know it or not, the entire nation is praying. Where God was taken out of the schools and government. I mean, on the dollar bill it says, "In God we trust." But you have governmental officials who want to take God out of everything. Yeah, I don't believe that he's happy with that. Let's put it out there. He's not happy with that, nor should he be. I believe wholeheartedly that God is going to get the glory voluntarily or involuntarily. You are going to respect him for who he is. You are going to respect his power, whether you want to or whether you don't. And so I feel like, because I know in my belief, even though, hey, as Christians, we love God. We love God, but we sin. My sins have, they're just too enormous to name, current and past. But I do believe this. God is allowing us the opportunity to come back home, to acknowledge him for who he is. And the scripture says, even on Judgment Day, the rocks are going to cry out. Well, if the rocks cry out, then surely the humans, mankind, we're going to cry out. We're crying out now. The entire nation is crying out. The entire nation is grieving. The entire nation is hurting. And so maybe, just maybe, this is God's way of realigning, readjusting, reaverting. Maybe this is just his way of reminding us of who he is. Don't know. That's just me. That's just what God imparted in my spirit. So at this particular time, and again, I'm having this podcast because I did get information that tonight, beyond 10 p.m., even midnight or beyond, that the federal government is going to release helicopters to fly all over the United States and release some chemical that will disseminate, disband all the effects of the kill the effects of the coronavirus. In addition to that, if humans are out and about, and if they come into direct contact with this chemical, that it will also be detrimental to their lives. I don't know if this is true, so let me just say that as a disclaimer. This is just information I received from a former White House official, and I just wanted to make sure that I shared it with you. Whether it's true or whether it's false, I've done my research before I did this podcast, and I've read all the comments that say this is a hoax, yada, 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 yada. I don't know if it is or not, because what I do know is this, and what I do feel is this. The government is going to tell you what they want you to know. There are things about this virus I feel that they know, and they're not sharing. So everything that I get, every piece of information that I get that I feel could help somebody else, trust and believe me, I'm going to share it. You can make the determination as to whether or not you want to adhere to what I'm saying or what the information that you're reading is saying or not. It's up to you. It's completely and totally up to you. But at this point, I want to go back and I have a lot of viewers who were on, and I thank you guys. And I know you guys are missing DJ Grady Baby. I get that. I do. He is the yin to my yang on this show. But we are socially distancing ourselves from each other. So after all this is over, you will certainly be able to reap the benefits of Tisa Batey and DJ Grady Baby together once again. But until then, I want to just read some of the comments. Hey, Teresa Goins Brown, that's my auntie in Tennessee. Hey, I'm so glad to hear you, to see that you're on here. Dante Jones, I miss you, darling. One of the best keyboard pianists that you ever heard. Lynette Erskine, what's up? Ex-roomie from college. Susan Brickett. Jacqueline Smith, Cynthia Wright, my cousin. Tamika Michelle, Barbara Lett Jones, Sean Douglas, another cousin. Victor McCannelly. Hey, Victor, so glad to have you on with us tonight. Tiffany Cross Moira, Cindy Johnson Eskridge, Missy Presley. It's a lot. DJ Grady Baby is even on. Hey, DJ, I miss you so much. You have no idea how much you miss something until it's like no longer there. Like, for real, like for real. So I miss you, DJ Grady Baby. I look so forward to having you back with me. Angie Dion Childress. Hey, Angie. Keisha Renee. C. Anderson Maddox, Robin Stewart, Angela Mack. Hey, Angela Mack. Hey, Nanji. She is Riley's other grandmommy, and I love her so much. Joe Morgan, Linda Taylor, Alicia Fletcher, my college roommate and fellow volleyball player of the 1992 champions of volleyball champions, OVC champions. Anyway, that doesn't even matter right now. Why am I even talking about that? Who knows? Kelly Benton, Tracy Cleveland, Mimi SoFly Dabs, thank you, Stacy Garmer, Kamara Moore, Latasha Briggs. It's a lot of people on. Byron Williams. It's so many people on. Hey guys, everybody who was saying hi to me, I say hi to you back, even if I don't say hi to you guys individually. Keisha, Renee, Kelly Benton, love you too, Tisa. Thank you so much. Carrie Collier, Gary the Q, another college colleague of mine, Jennifer Anders Johnson's, Todd Henry, like I say, Richard Gibbs. It's just so many. Keisha Renee says that I'm speaking from a 2-year ordained sabbatical change. In times, all things come together. I agree with that. Melinda Bertram, Alona Epps Collins is watching. That's a cousin from a former marriage. Hey, Tina. Tammy Smith. Byron says, really? Kill people? What's in it? And what I will say is this, Byron. I have no idea. What I did think about before I did this podcast was this. Many of Trump's State of the Union or whatever speeches, and he has said over and over and over again that the next couple of weeks are going to be really, really bad. Like the next couple of weeks are going to be bad. And I was at my mom's house in Tennessee, and I'm listening to this, and we're listening together, and I was like, and my mom and I were talking, and we're like, how does he know how bad it's going to be? Like, ultimately, God has the final say. In my opinion, he has the final say. He is the ultimate authority. Like, how does he know how bad it's going to be in the next couple of weeks? And why would he say that? How does he know when it's going to plateau or when this thing is going to die down? So when you start thinking about that, and then you get information like the information that I just received today, it sort of makes you say, I'm not validating it, nor am I discounting it. I'm just the middleman. But it does make you wonder, like, for you to make a claim and say that the next 2 weeks are going to be devastating, for you to make a claim when only 5,000 or 6,000 people in the U.S. have died, and for you to say that you expect 100,000 to 200,000 casualties, like, why would you say that? How do you know that? And so I thought about all that before I did this podcast tonight. And again, not everybody has to agree with this. I'm just giving you the information that I was given so that you can make an informed decision as to how you want to govern yourselves. Yeah. It could be nothing. Let's just face it, it could be nothing. And then it could be everything. So I just want to make sure that everybody is aware. As for me and mine, I am going to take every single solitary bit of information that's given to me, and I am going to attempt to make an informed decision as to how I want to govern myself. And just knowing how much my family means to me and my friends mean to me, I just felt that it was important enough that I have this podcast tonight. So I hear you, Byron X. Williams, but that's my opinion. Alona Epps Collins says, stay inside, period. I agree with you, Tina, completely. Johnny Stevenson, my cousin from Alabama. Hey, I love you. Corey Watson says, it's the Chemical Disease Center that is causing this. I don't know if it's true or false. Hear ya. Kay Renee says, stay in and prayed up. I completely and totally agree with you, Kay Renee. Alona Epps Collins says, knowledge is power. Thanks for doing your part. Sharing is caring. I absolutely agree. Hey, Antonia. Hey, and Alona says, better safe than sorry. And I guess that's just my my opinion and my view. It's just better safe than sorry. It's better to have to me, somebody who thrives on knowledge and information and knowing, it's better for me to have too much information than not enough. So give me more than I need rather than less than what's sufficient. Okay. Hey, Tracy Lott, love you. Tony Michelle, Orrin Basil. Angela Mack says, my condolences. This thing really hit home with me last week when my former sister-in-law, and she will always be my sister-in-law, but my ex-husband's sister, who lives in Detroit, she lost her husband to the coronavirus. And, some of us think, well, black people can't get it. Really? I know that was the consensus initially, but if you still feel that way, you are very, very misinformed and you're doing yourself a disservice. So yes, black people can get it. There are several black celebrities who have contracted the coronavirus, including Idris Elba. I'm sorry, dang my vocabulary. Idris Elba, who is my future ex-husband, he has the coronavirus. So let's just face it, this is not a whites only virus. It's not a Asian only virus. Anybody is susceptible to this. So let's just make sure that we're careful and we're doing everything we can to protect ourselves and our family. What's going on, Angela Mack? My condolences. David Bertram, Kimberly Sherhart, another college roommate of mine. Tamika Michelle Hall says, why wouldn't they warn people so that they can all be safe? I don't know, Tamika. That's a very, very good question. And I've asked myself that question. But there are some conspiracy theorists who are out there who say that the government is very knowledgeable of this coronavirus from beginning to end. So I guess my question to you would be, why didn't they warn us from the beginning? Why weren't we more prepared for this devastation? So I don't know. And I'm not agreeing with that. I'm just saying, I don't know. I wish I could answer all your questions, but let's just face it, quite frankly, I don't have the answers. I'm just like you. I'm governing myself and I'm erring on the side of caution, just like many of you are. I just want to make sure that whatever information I gather, I share it with you. Hey, Shakita Oliver, I love you too. Thank you so much. Vincent Porter, Kenny Springs, Barbarette Jones says, just stay at home. We supposed to anyway. Boom. How about that part? Tamika Michelle Hall says, my husband is a firefighter. He has no choice. We will be praying for your husband, Tamika, and so many of the others who are on the front lines of all this devastation. Not only the firefighters, but the law enforcement officers, and most importantly, the medical people who are in the medical profession, the nurses, the doctors, who don't have any choice except to be exposed to this deadly virus every day. Our prayers are with all of you guys. Barbarette Jones says, what time will it begin? How long will it last? I don't know how long it will last, but the call that I received said 10 o'clock beyond tonight. I read something that online that said 12 o'clock midnight and beyond. So I don't know which one is true or false. I don't know. All I will say is at 10 o'clock and beyond, me and mine, we're going to be in this house. That's just what it is. So at 10 o'clock tonight, I've advised my kids, my grandkids, my friends, my family, have your butt in the house and stay there. Don't care whether it's a hoax. I don't care. Just be at home, stay there. What can it hurt you? We're supposed to be there anyway. Hey, James Klein, Junie, Mary Hardy Wright is watching, Sharon Davis, Demetria. Hey, Dr. Demetria. Oscar Skip Bush says good evening. Hey, Oscar. Daryl Hayes, I love you, Daryl. Angela Mack says, Heavenly Father, hear our prayers. Keep praying, Tisa. So many emotions, but I know God is with us, and I absolutely agree with you. David says, Elder David Buttram says, nothing happens unless God allows it. And you're absolutely right. This is his world. He has the final say. He has the final authority. But who are we to say how much he should allow and how much he should not? I don't know. I don't have the answers to that. Crystal Jones is watching. Hey, Crystal. Kamara says, that God is doing this to get the attention of the people. Keisha Renee says that we will not let anxiety, loss, change, nor the unknown get us in this way. I haven't even spoke. Let me see. I'm sorry, guys. She says, I haven't even spoke on my family in Brooklyn, the deaths up there, and so many friends and family, and the loss of my mother. So sorry for you, Keisha. Really, really sorry for you. Tisa, I can only tell you to take deep breaths, cry, scream, call friends, trust God. I don't have the answers, but I know that crying, being quiet, isolation, and reading the word was helping me, and grieving has no expiration date. And some people will never understand the grieving process, and I agree with you. Some people won't. She says, but you're informing us keeps blood off our hands, if it's true. Love you. Know that the Master has a plan, and know that the plan for your life. I went through this transition in New York, and she is from New York, so I can understand the devastation for her has been tremendous. And Keisha, just know that we are praying for you. We're praying for your family and your loved ones in New York. New York at this time almost seems like a third world country because of the devastation. But what I do know is that it could be any state. It could be Georgia. It could be Tennessee. It could be any state. And I just, my heart goes out for all those people who have lost loved ones, all those people who are left behind to grieve the loss of their loved ones. I cannot begin to tell you how my heart goes out for you. And I just pray for you. And I just ask that God just comfort you and that he protect you under his huge and enormous and powerful and protective wings, that he just keep you and comfort you and give you understanding during this time. Because grieving, and I will also say this, don't allow anyone to tell you how long you should grieve or how you should grieve. Everybody's grieving process and everybody's grieving procedures, they're different. Like I might not grieve the way the next person grieves. Who's to say what's right and wrong? You grieve the way you need to grieve so that you can heal. Tears, crying, the tears are healing. Every time you shed a tear, you're healing just a little bit more. And just trust God. Rely on God to help you through this. My auntie Glenda Copeland's watching. Jennifer Anders says, thanks, my friend. And I say that you're very, very welcome. Patricia Gand, Sean Douglas says, I agree. That's my cousin. Dr. Demetria Lambert says, the physical earth is healing itself right now. Air pollution is decreasing and the ozone is recovering. If that's all that God wanted to accomplish by allowing this to happen, not creating it, but by allowing this to happen, then so be it. I don't know what his ultimate plan is, because what I can tell you this is my mind and the human mind is not even close to being able to comprehend the magnitude and the greatness and the vastness of what God is capable and able of doing. If we think that we are fooling ourselves. Like, we have no idea. I don't even try to understand why he allows things that he allows to happen. I don't even try to understand anymore why he does things that he does, because my mind is not capable of understanding and grasping the fullness of God. How arrogant would it be for us to think that we are? Come on, Booze. Like, we ain't on his level. Let's just put it out there. We are not on his level. We will never be on his level. We are not the creator of the universe, of the earth, and we are not the creators. We are royalty. We are heirs to the throne. God made us in his image, but we are not him. That's just like you having a company. You created the company. You're the creator of that company. You are the president, CEO, whatever you want to say, of that company. And you groom people under you to take over that company one day, whether it's your kids or whomever. You groom them to take over that company one day because maybe you know that you won't always be here. But that is your company. You own the rights to that company. You have the final say. You are the authority over that company. How dare an employee come to you and question you and challenge you on how you decide to run your company? That's how I view God in this universe. How dare we question him and challenge him on decisions he makes? Who are we? We're fortunate to be a part of this universe. We are fortunate to have life in us. But how dare we question him or challenge him on any decision that he makes? So I don't have all the answers. I don't even have a few of the answers. All I have is information that I wanted to disseminate amongst my viewers. And just make sure that we're all aware. However you guys decide to take the information and utilize it, it's up to you. And certainly, I have no problems with that. But me and the Tisa Batey Show on djgradybaby.com, I just wanted to bring the information to you. Hey, Pearl Gallagher, my fellow August the 10th Leo birthday holder. Love you. But anyway, I'm getting ready to get off here. I just wanted to bring that information to you. CC Anderson, Maddox, come back to him. He wants us to come back to him, and I completely agree with that. DJ Grady Baby says, the Bible said that when I go to the pits of hell, the dust shall praise me. So yeah, Roz Wilkerson. Dr. Demetria says people are turning to the Father because they don't have any other hope. Self-proclaimed atheists, people who have never acknowledged God, are on their knees praying right now. The whole nation is praying. I have to believe that God has a hand in that. The whole nation is praying. When's the last time we've done that? So anyway, I love you guys. Derek Harris, Kamara Moore, Scott Porter, Kimberly Goins, Shonda Simpson. So many of you guys, I can't possibly get to all your comments tonight. I will get to them. My aunt Glenda Copeland says, I don't even believe it's a virus. I believe it's some kind of chemical that has been exposed and it got out of hand. And a lot of people are saying exactly what you're saying, Aunt Glenn. You may be right. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Ursula, Sheila Smith, it's so many people. Hey, Tease, miss you. I miss you too, Ursula. Hey, beautiful. Hey, Auntie Sheila, I miss you too. So there are so many comments. I can't possibly get to all of them tonight, but what I will say is that I love you guys. I'm going to go ahead and get off this podcast because we could actually talk about this all night. We really could. Our nation is dying right now. We have loved ones who are just leaving us left and right. My heart goes out to all those who are left behind to grieve the loss of your loved ones. I know how that feels. I know how devastating that feels. And to know that a whole nation is feeling what I have felt in the past, it's overwhelming. So my prayers are with you. I love you guys. I really, really do. Let's just pray for each other like we never have before. We have spent so much time in the past judging each other, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, whites or blacks or whatever. We have spent so much time being critical of each other. If we could just take this time, pray for each other, love on each other, support each other, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's what we're supposed to do during this time. I don't know. I don't have the answers. All I know is that as much as I have prayed in the past, I'm praying harder now than I ever have, because I want my family, my babies, my grandbabies. I want to grow old with them. And I know that that's how we're all feeling. So I'm praying harder now than I ever have. And I think that as a nation, we're all praying harder than we ever have. I never in a million years imagined that I would live through something like this in my lifetime. And I'm quite sure that most of you all feel the same way. So let's take the opportunity and the time to just love on each other, to just pray for one another. This far supersedes or surpasses race, religion, political views. None of that matters at this point, because this disease, this virus, has no respect of religion. It has no respect of religion, race, political views. It has no respect of any of that. So let's just pray for each other. Let's love on each other. Let's love on our babies. Let's love on our families. And let's look forward to what's to come after. I love you guys, and I look forward to being able to reflect and talk about this after this is all over. I look forward to getting back to the life, or to life as we once knew it, because life as we once knew it is different. It's changed. It's not the same, and that's what I tell my babies. But I look forward to getting back to the times that we can just appreciate each other and love on each other, and love socializing and hanging out with each other and just enjoying each other's company. And I've got the comments that says, hey, Soror, the Tammy Smith says 5G is radiation. Could they be putting that in the air? I've gotten a lot of emails today and text messages today saying that the 5G, when you look at your phone and it's on 5G, saying that 5G has something to do with this. I don't know. I don't know. Keisha Renee is trying to call me right now, but of course I can't take her call because I'm on this podcast. I don't know what it is she's trying to say, but whatever it is she wants to relate to you guys, I will certainly share it with you in the podcast. She does say it's almost like last year. They said that the last winter would be the worst flu season ever. How do they know these things like this? And Byron X says, I heard about military being dispatched all over the U.S. That's been announced. I think the lockdown will be extended at least until the end of April. And let me share this. I'm going to share this with you guys, and then I'm going to get off this podcast. I remember my bishop, and he is the illustrious Bishop Dale C. Bronner. I remember him he did a sermon, and I specifically remember one time the sermon, God was using him in a way that was so prophetic, and he was operating under the admonition of God, and he was saying, he said, I have a vision, and I'm seeing this vision, and the vision was so real to him. And he said he saw God like a vision in the air, a mass vision, and one hand was out like this. And then there was one hand that was doing this. And in his vision, he said God was summoning the people to get things right. Like, I'm holding off devastation. I'm holding off destruction as long as I can. I'm giving you the opportunity. It's coming, but I'm giving you the opportunity to come to me, to make things right, to do the right thing. I'm holding it off as long as I can, but I'm not going to be able to hold it off forever. Come. And he said this on more than one occasion. And I feel like now that's where we are. Like this devastation that will claim hundreds of thousands of lives. And I'm not saying for a minute, make sure that we understand this, that the people who have suffered loss or who have died are deserving of this. I'm not saying that. Please, let's make sure that we're clear on that. But when we speak of the people, we're speaking of the nation, we're speaking of the world. And I just feel like sometimes that God is just tired of us taking him out of everything. We can't take the creator out of everything. We can't take him out of anything. Like, who are we to do that? And I feel like that's why we are where we are today. So anyway, I know that there are a lot of comments and a lot of people who have a lot to say. Matt Maynard says that some people think that this is a cover-up for the New York World Order. The mark of the beast, one world currency stemming from the 5G network. I don't know. I've heard that, Matt, and you could be absolutely right. I don't know what the answers are. There's a lot of speculation. There are a lot of people who, we have conspiracy theory seekers. I'm not one of those. I just sort of like take things as they come. But I don't know. You could be absolutely right. This is not the first I've heard of that. I just think that this is a time for us to turn to God and to trust him. And in all that's going on, what I have decided to say is, and believe, is that God, I trust you. I trust you because you are the final authority. You have the final say. You say when this started and you say when it ended. So I'm just going to trust you. So let's just pray for each other and let's just love on each other. And let's let all this little insignificant stuff that really doesn't amount to a hill of beans go. Whether it's race, religion, political views. Let's let all that stuff go and just love each other. I don't know, guys. I love you guys, and I got to get off this podcast. But I love you, and I'll see you next week. I will respond to each and every one of your comments because you're relevant, you matter. I love you, and what you say really, really has value to me. But share this with everyone you know. Please share this with everyone you know. And let's let change start in us. Okay? Thank you so much for tuning into the Tisa Batey Show, and I'll see you next week.